What is up, everybody? It's Matt from Matt Media, and welcome to the first episode of Canadian Music Review. It's a series where I take a Canadian artist or a band, and I do a bit of an autopsy on their status in the music scene, take a look at an album or two, and just discuss their approach to music and lyrics in general. So for this series, there's two criteria. One, the band or artist needs to be Canadian, and two, they would have had to have had some sort of mainstream exposure, whether it be in the United States, Canada, or worldwide. So don't forget to click a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell for notifications, and without further ado, let's start with a band that needs no introduction, except for the one I'm about to give it, because it's Nickelback. Nickelback have been making music since 1995, and have released 9 studio albums between then and 2017. Selling millions of records along the way. In doing so, they've built a long-lasting career and quite the significant fan base. They've also built a reputation as being one of the most hated bands ever. But why? What makes Nickelback such a popular band to despise? Maybe it's because all their music is glorified pop and masquerading as hard rock. But it didn't really start out like this. Their second album, The State, was actually okay. It wasn't great by any means, but at least there was something creative there in their process, and it seems things were looking up. But then they discovered the formula. In 2001, lead singer Chad Kroeger said that he started studying every piece, everything sonically, everything lyrically, everything musically, chord structure. I would dissect every single song that I would hear on the radio, or every song that had ever done well on a chart, and I would say, well, why did this do well? So from then on, instead of evolving creatively or putting any passion into their music, every album Nickelback would make would be for the sole purpose of selling records and topping charts. Their third album, Silver Side Up, released in 2001, and was a precursor to the direction they were going to be headed moving forward. So now let's fast forward to 2005 and Nickelback's multi-platinum selling record, All the Right Reasons. And I don't know why. This album is not only awful, it was with this album that I realized the thematic content of Nickelback albums is thoroughly jarring. You have creepy stalker anthems like Followed You Home, then Fight for All the Wrong Reasons, which is as toxic as the relationship he's singing about. The music itself isn't anything special, and the lyrics... Come on, Chad. Then comes Photograph, the epitome of the bad song, showing what bad songwriters Nickelback really is. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. The guitars and drums are so generic and bland. It only highlights the abysmal lyrics about the band's hometown with disjointed anecdotes that don't paint any sort of picture of what it was like to grow up in Hanna, Alberta. And from the sound of what Chad is singing about, it could literally be any small town in Canada. Literally any of them. At the end of the day, it's not great when your sentimental song becomes a meme. Well, you see what I mean by jarring, right? We go from creepy stalkers, to toxic relationships, to autobiographies, and back to disgusting with animals. Thematically, this album is just some wicked rubber banding here. And speaking of the song Animals, I am convinced that it was written by a teenager. It's a song about sneaking your girlfriend out of your parents' house to hook up somewhere in the back of your car. And then get ready for another sharp turn, because the next two songs are the more sensibly themed Savin' Me and Far Away, songs so generic that anyone could have written them. And then there's More Disgusting, and finally Rockstar, which is the type of unintentional hilarity that comes from the implication that Nickelback do actually consider themselves rock stars. The song isn't necessarily bad, it's just hilarious to think about. But again, there's nothing outstanding about the song. And again, anyone could have written it, making Nickelback's songwriting level so basic and accessible because there's nothing in this album that is uniquely Nickelback, except for the fact that it's awful. And there was Nickelback's multi-platinum hit album, All the Right Reasons. Good lord. And the next albums aren't really any better, nonsensically mixing sentimentality and disgusting. 2008's Dark Horse opens up with maybe it's not as bad as it sounds. Come on, Chad. Okay, what do you got next here? Never Gonna Be Alone. Oh, that's actually kind of nice. What's next here? Shaking Hands. Alright, I'll check it out. And oh, come on, Chad! This album has a song that's just called Sex. There's dots in between the letters, but it's still called Sex. I'm gonna let you figure out what exactly that song's about. I mean, I'm not usually opposed to raunchier themes and songs, but Never Gonna Be Alone is a wholesome song with an accompanying music video that features a young woman whose deceased father is always there for the milestones of her life. Why would you immediately follow it up with Shaking Hands and a song literally called Sex? I'm starting to think opening this series with Nickelback was a mistake. I mean, at least people are starting to catch wise, because their latest release, Feed the Machine from 2017, didn't sell all that great, and they aren't exactly rushing to make a new one. I mean, just one look at their discography, and you realize why everyone hates Nickelback. I mean, almost every song is bland generic rock, and they seem to be allergic to any creative evolution or just simple passion. And when they do try to rock out, it's almost comical because they're just pop musicians who still think they're a hardcore rock band. They aren't. So what do you think of Nickelback? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Agree or disagree? Leave it in the comments. Anyway, that's all I've got for you for now. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And I promise that my next installment of this series will be a lot more positive. So I hope you all have a kick-ass day, and I'll catch you later.